Hello all, welcome back to A Peek in Holy Meadows, and today I wanted to discuss self-concept and positive affirmations. Our self-concept is our personal beliefs about ourselves that are constructed from the view that we have of ourselves through our personal experiences and what we have been told about ourselves, but also it's the way we internalize how other people view us. Positive affirmations are positively loaded statements or ideas that are meant to counterbalance and counteract the negative thought forms that may be floating around in our brains. Positive affirmations work first by reprogramming your subconscious mind to match the frequency of which you are trying to obtain. So for example, someone who has a negative self-concept, but specifically with how they look, may use positive affirmations about physical appearance, confidence, to improve their overall self-concept. Our self-concept is extremely important because our self-concept controls how we view ourselves and therefore controls our actions, controls our thoughts, and controls what we believe we deserve. So while some of us may have a negative self-concept or have things that we struggle with when it comes to our self-concept, this is where positive affirmations come in, because positive affirmations are meant to reprogram the subconscious mind by feeding the mind these positive ideas and positive thoughts about ourselves, which aim to align us to our desired state. So it works first by seeing what statements don't feel right. When I first began my journey of self-love, self-healing, spiritual journey, positive affirmations were extremely hard for me and they felt extremely unnatural. It felt like I was lying to myself. But over time, we have to learn to accept these positive things about ourselves, accept that we are good, accept that we are worthy, accept that we are deserving. Because the problem that comes with a negative self-concept is those feelings of unworthiness, those feelings of bad, those feelings of not feeling good enough, So when you begin positive affirmations and improving your self-concept, positive affirmations are a perfect way to signify where we are struggling. The affirmations that are the hardest to speak to yourself are the areas where you're struggling the most and you actually need them the most. Over time, although it may be uncomfortable at first to hear all these positive things, it may feel corny, it may feel silly, but over time, positive affirmations work to improve our self-concept by slowly accepting them into our belief system and then becoming them. So when you start out, for example, doing affirmations, the affirmation that I am beautiful may sound gross or silly or unbelievable to you, but over time, with practice and with consistency, that feeling of beauty, that feeling of actually feeling beautiful inside and out is going to become reality to you. It's going to become like second knowledge to you. It's going to become a part of your self-concept. And that's the whole point of positive affirmations and self-concept. We want the positive aspects of these positive affirmations to become what we think we truly are, versus the things that we've been told by our family, our friends, people who have intended to say mean things to us. We don't want those things as our self-concept because they're not truly who you are. They're just a reflection of how other people feel about you. In my opinion, only you know who you are. And you can develop who you are through positive affirmations and improving the self-concept. In our minds, sometimes we may hyperfixate on negative aspects about ourselves, but the positive affirmations work to be the counter to that. So where we may overthink or brood or ruminate is where we can come in with the affirmations and change it to being excited for something, being more hopeful for what's coming in your life, being more willing to want to manifest and attract what we truly desire in our lives. Positive affirmations make those things more realistic, conducive, and reachable because we're telling ourselves that we can do it. We're telling ourselves that we're worthy of doing it. We're motivating ourselves. We're uplifting ourselves. And that's the whole point of positive affirmations. In a very spiritual sense, the energetic frequency of the positive affirmations are meant to raise the energetic frequency of the mind, which in turn raises the energetic frequency of things around you. The mind controls our reality, so a happy, relaxed, positive mind may lead to a happy, positive, and relaxed environment or outlook on life. So I wanted to give you guys some general how to use positive affirmations, why to use positive affirmations, and what you can do to incorporate positive affirmation and improving the self-concept into your life. I think the first step into being more positive and having a better self-concept is to be aware and building the self-awareness of what is causing you to not feel positively about yourself or what is causing this negative self-concept. For example, if you always beat yourself up about not doing enough work, about not getting things done, about not being productive enough, your self-concept may feel like you're lazy, and then your mind is reacting to that by pressuring you to do work. The next step is shadow work and some introspection. Once we're aware of what is troubling us, the next step is to investigate it. So to investigate it, I would personally ask some questions like, where did this come from? Why do I keep repeating this thought? How does this thought make me feel? What triggers this thought? Maybe it's something I see, maybe it's resting or relaxing. And I think it's especially important to think about how others may have influenced this negative thought pattern. Step 3, it's kind of like step 3 and 4, but it's utilizing affirmations and subliminals. So affirmations are typically shorter. The ones that, when I first started out, I started using affirmations from YouTube. And I started very short. I started with 5-minute affirmations. I simply typed in 5-minute affirmations for motivation, for self-love. And I just picked the first one and then I listened to it through. But as I started building the tolerance to it or building the habit, I like to go for 10 to 20 minutes. So again, I'll just type in 10-minute affirmation for blank, and then it'll pop up, and then I'll sit and listen to it. The way that I listen to affirmations is kind of like in a meditative state. I prefer to listen to affirmations in the morning, but I will always use affirmations when I'm feeling low, or when I need an extra pick-me-up, or when I need motivation, or if I'm attracting something. The way that I listen to them though is just sitting in a meditative state. Sometimes I'll repeat it in my brain or in my head. I do always repeat the affirmation after they say it, but it just depends on if I say it out loud or if I just repeat it internally. And I just sit and listen and I try to observe what I feel, because the feeling is the most important. The feeling is kind of what we remember in life, how we felt about things. So I sit, I try to observe how the affirmations are making me feel, whether it's an emotion, whether it's a bodily sensation. It's very important to be aware of the sensations and the feeling, the energy of it. So I repeat it, I tune into the feelings that I have, and I try to carefully listen to what each word is saying. Words are so important. Words are literally spells. It's so crucial to what you are actually affirming to yourself. Subliminals are typically longer and are typically meant to be used in a deep meditative state or during sleep, or can even be used in the background of like yoga, meditation. The whole point of subliminals is to infiltrate the mind through the state of subtle suggestion, and that state of subtle suggestion is most accessed when we're about to fall asleep, when we are actually asleep, and when we're in deep meditative states. So what the subliminals do, there's kind of 2 types of subliminals. There's a frequency, like a literal sound. They're called hertz. You can type them up on YouTube as well, but there's certain hertz that can literally raise your vibration to the mind state you want to be in. Or there's verbal affirmations in a subliminal form. So they have the hertz and they have the affirmations that play, usually they range from like an hour to like literally 23 hours. Just doing those little things to suggest to your brain that, hey, maybe you want to think this. Maybe you want this in your self-concept will be very helpful. And I love doing subliminals because it's literally no work. I just have to put on the video and then I go to sleep. It's definitely a thing that I encourage you do consistently. Daily practice, incorporating positive affirmations in your daily practice is so essential to actually reprogramming your self-concept and consequently your subconscious mind. we need to repeat things and make them habitual so they stick. Just like any habit, just like anything you want to improve at, you have to keep doing it. The whole point of affirmations and subliminals are to be at the frequency or the mind state or the energy that we truly desire to be at. If we're doing subliminals or affirmations to specifically attract something, like the law of attraction or through manifestation, we have to truly believe it before we see it. So it's kind of counterintuitive to the saying of, I have to see it to believe it. But with the I have to believe it before I see it mindset, you have to truly believe that you can have it, or you can be it, or you can obtain a positive self-concept. And then it will start to reflect in your outer reality. We can't bring things in that we have never seen or experienced or we don't think exist. We have to prep ourselves, basically, mentally, spiritually, internally. We have to prepare ourselves for what we are trying to call in. Number 4 is kind of along the same lines of affirmations and subliminals, but it's specifically speaking out loud to yourself in the mirror, or just out reading a page, just speaking to yourself, hearing your own voice say positive things to yourself. Some of us may not be used to people speaking kindly to us, speaking so sweetly and positively, and speaking life-giving words and uplifting us. So we have to take that task into our own hands if we want to improve our circumstances. You can do this speech, like a little motivational speech, but more so with positive affirmations. You can keep a couple positive affirmations that you're trying to work on incorporating into your self-concept in your notes app. You can leave post-its around your house. It's all a very mental thing. We have to really change the mind, and we have to adjust the mind to what we are truly desiring to feel, to be, to have, before we actually have it. Because without the action, without the change, we're just stuck in a perpetual state of wanting and yearning. And that's not what we want to be. We want to be in our desires. We want to be appreciating our desires. And along with this number 4, I think we should be more open to asking people around us, our loved ones, to speak more life into us, to be more positive to us, to be more loving to us. I don't think it's fair for us to have to accept people's harsh words, their criticisms, their judgments, if they're not warranted. If it's just coming out of a state of wanting to tear someone down or wanting to humble you, or in things like that. I think it should be more commonplace to actually be more communicative in that sense, where someone may say something negative to you and you counter it. Instead of internalizing it, instead of believing it as true, instead of being hurt by it, ask them to speak life into you. Tell them to stop speaking negativity over you and tell them to speak life into you. You don't deserve to be brought down by no one. We're all equal, we're all on the same playing field, and it's truly not fair for others to point out your flaws, to tease you, to do all these things because they may have a negative self-concept. Being serious about improving your self-esteem, self-worth, your self-concept comes with letting others know that you're serious about improving your self-concept and being more positive. I think it also should be more commonplace to speak openly about how positively you feel about yourself and how positively you feel about your desires and what you're attracting and what you're manifesting, versus kind of ruminating with others around you or marinating on painful events. I think it's very important for the self-concept to be introduced to new experiences when it comes to positivity, especially when there's like a witness or others around. Besides it just being more enjoyable to be around someone who's very positive and uplifting, it can also inspire and motivate others to recognize in themselves where they do hold negativity towards themselves and how they're projecting it onto the outside world. My 5th tip is gratitude. I'm such a big proponent of gratitude. You need to be grateful for what you have, who you are, what you are, because that is where the positivity stems from. When you feel that appreciation, that love, that gratitude for what you already have in your life, it just attracts more of that. The universe wants to give you more of what you're grateful for because it just wants you to be positive and happy. So I think it's very important that even if we don't have a perfect self-concept, to be aware of the parts of ourselves that are already pretty nice or pretty good, and to express gratitude for ourselves. You may not have positive self-concept when it comes to your body, but you may have positive self-concept when it comes to how much you're earning, your career path. And while you're working on improving your body positivity and your self-concept in that area, you should also be expressing gratitude for what you already have when it comes to finance and career. So that doesn't dwindle away and mess up, or get ruined by the negativity that may already be pre-existing in the self-concept or in the mind. We want to keep all the things that we love safe and pure, and we want to uplift them as well. We want to uplift all parts of ourselves, even the parts that we don't like, even the parts that we're so satisfied with that we barely even recognize that we're so satisfied with them, if that makes sense. And then my last and final tip is watching what you intake, watching what you consume, more so in the sense of what you're feeding your brain. Social media, YouTube videos, movies, TV shows, the people we're around, the environments we're around, all have a tremendous impact on who we are, what we do, and our self-concept. There's a very popular saying where it's like, I think the 3 people that you spend the most time with are a reflection of you. And I truly believe that, just because of the cycles and the phases that I've been through in my life, where I've been in different environments, been with different groups of people, been consuming different things, and it has totally impacted the way I viewed myself, how much love I had for myself, how much positivity I had. And I think it's very important for us to be mindful and aware of the things that can trigger us, or the things that can fill us with those negative feelings, or that basically trigger the negative self-concepts, the negative self-talk. I truly feel like in this day and age, it's been so normalized to be self-deprecating, to hate your life, to be negative, to bring others down, to be critical. I think it's so normalized that it's very maybe odd or jarring to be so positive, or to see someone being so positive and uplifting, because a lot of the things that are being promoted are the complete opposite of that. So I think with that in mind, it's very important to intentionally choose what is in your life, what you are consuming, because it makes you, it influences you subconsciously and consciously. I deeply believe that authentic self-empowerment comes from being able to provide love, care, and structure for ourselves mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And I think adding positive affirmations and improving the self-concept are 2 important things when it comes to that realm. Positive self-affirmations, I feel like, should be a part of everyone's routine. We all struggle with something. We all struggle with aspects of our self-concept that aren't fully ironed out yet, or don't feel complete, or don't feel good enough. And it might even be a lifelong mission to constantly tend to ourselves in that way. But in my head, we are a garden, and we are worthy of a bountiful yield. We are worthy of beautiful green pastures. And I think positive self-affirmations definitely is the watering can or the fertilizer for that garden. So yes, that's all I wanted to share about positive self-affirmations and positive self-concept. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for interacting. I've loved all the comments on my last video. I love all the support. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!